r/askReddit. What is always a red flag? If politics is the only topic someone brings up. Also, if they go about day-to-day life displaying their sexual fetish. I'm surprised you're the first to bring up politics being a red flag. It's a big red flag for me, and I'm tired of hearing about politics tbh. I'm not necessarily tired of it, but when that is the only thing a person talks about no matter what else is going on. Frick off. Yes, that's very annoying. I've got a couple friends that are like that. I guess it's nice to hear about whatever is going on in politics, but man do I not care anymore. This one should be universal, but it's not, sadly. Subtle, not subtle comments about weight and apprentices of a person. If they say that, you should lose a little weight, you would look better with makeup on, or, I don't like that outfit on you, change your clothes. Had my bio father say this to me since I was very little, I had to wear really ugly clothes when I was with him because he would say horrible things about me if I did otherwise. I have more stories that I may post in another subreddit if y'all are interested. If she sees your car and says, this isn't gonna work, like what the hell? Lol, who did this to you? A girl long time ago, about 3 years. At least you dodged a bullet. Not really, I got a better one. After a bit I got a Tesla and I got matched with her again and she was like, oh, you upgraded. Keep in mind I had the car in my PFP. And I was like, yeah, I did, and after that I stopped talking and she kept bugging me. I am now married. I mean, you still dodged the bullet, the gold digger. Hope you're happily married. One of my bosses once told me that whenever you start a new job, position, it's usually the first person who tries really hard to be your friend is the problem child of the office. They'll usually start telling you of people to avoid as well. I've found this very, very useful. OMG, true. I remember a coworker coming off charming and nice to me when I started, which kind of made me uncomfortable. I went out with them one night and all they did was talk shit about others, so yeah. That is very true, and I wish I learned this a lot earlier. The problem child of my office later on latched onto the newest hire and I no longer was useful to her. I certainly don't miss hearing about all her dramas, so it was like the trash taking itself out. Oh, that does make a lot of sense, smart boss. My old boss did this. Everyone was a toxic boss but him and the people he picked. He liked me for whatever reason, probably because I was a younger, more impressionable dude. I didn't really fall for it, but I was also pretty timid, so I didn't really stand up to him for anyone. People who cause a lot of drama and switch friends a lot. Those are usually the same people who will post quotes about them being too real, and calling out other people for being snakes, when it's actually themselves who have a problem. Caught myself doing this recently. Was really going in on people for pretty petty reasons, and when friends called me out I chalked it up to practicing radical honesty. Turns out, I was just being a bitch. The flag of Switzerland. Some people call it a red flag, but others say it's a big plus. Past criminal records, lies, drug use, gossip. If they gossip about other people, they will for sure gossip about you. Gaslighting and narcissistic behaviors. Everyone should Google these terms and watch for it. Narcissists and gaslighters are textbook, and when you know the signs, you can pretty much tell them what they will do and say next. It is predictable behavior. How absolutely every single ex is crazy. One of mine was, but another at the time I thought she was the problem, but now I'm older I realize I was a lot of the problem. Sounds like you're growing. Keep it up. I think with my last one I had heaps of issues too, but she just blamed everyone else. I eventually took a hard look and realized it wasn't normal and sought help. She was that bad that she got a job that would involve visiting a branch of our old job. They knew me but not her. I don't particularly like the management there, but they actually warned the team about her. If you met an asshole today, you met an asshole. If everyone you met was an asshole today, chances are that you were the asshole. Same with crazy exes. If you've had 1 or 2 crazy exes, that happens. If all the exes are crazy, then you're part of the problem. Dick pics. If unsolicited, yes. If solicited, it's a red flag the other way. I believe it's considered a green flag then. Only if the person soliciting the pic isn't a catfish. A green flag if you're colorblind. Lol, that's a good one. Girl. It seems things just get worse and worse for me, and I'm tired of people's BS. Nobody's honest me, and I've never felt more alone. Me. Hey, you alright? You need to talk, girl. What, yeah, I'm fine, lol. I have a list when a parent brags that their child is afraid of them, or that they beat their kids. You'd be surprised how many parents I met that brag about that. No, you should never lay your hands on your children, and if your child is afraid of you, something needs to be fixed. People who make homophobic, transphobic, racist, ableist, or sexist joke and try to pass it as dark humor. Of course, a massive exception is if you're part of the group you're making fun of. This doesn't apply if you're only friends with a person part of said groups. People who unironically say mental illnesses are all in your head. Whenever you talk about something you're proud of, they always have to put you down, make it about them. Example: I scored top of my class junior year. Well, I've scored top of my class since middle school. If you unironically call people snowflake, offended, or triggered, everyone I've met who says this just hate when they're called out on their BS. When people use words from different languages without knowing what they mean. Example: the multiple people in the anime community who unironically call their SO Oni-chan, that literally means older brother. While on that topic, when they use other cultures as an aesthetic, it just feels so disrespectful to me. When people use their religion to talk about your life, like you're just living your life and they have to talk about how it's against their religion, like you're making them do what you're doing. While on the topic of religion, if they cherry pick the Bible and then shame you for not following the Bible. If you talk shit about the LGBTQA+ community for existing, you better not have any tattoos, have had premarital sex, eaten shrimp, worn clothes of mixed fabrics, disrespected your parents, or anything else the Bible is against. I'll stop here, this could go on forever, honestly. Playing head games. We're not in high school, and you aren't on The Bachelorette. Be honest, sincere, and forthcoming, and we'll get along just fine. I'm in my mid-30s, and thus am too old and rickety to jump through hoops. Bruh. Basically every Tinder conversation is like this for me. If I ask a simple question like, "What's your favorite restaurant?" I'm not interested in some coy, "Look at my pics and you tell me," bullshit. Trying to be interesting without being interesting is difficult for some people. When I was in my mid-20s, I stopped talking to a lot of women who were possible partners because of the head games. It was mind-blowing to me how many women would get upset when I would cut them off. If you want to be friends, cool. If you want to be friends with benefits, cool. If you want to date me, awesome. Just make your intentions clear. Don't frick with my emotions and try and flip through the options. If you do that, frick off. If my dog doesn't like you, the dog test is golden, but only if you know how to read it. My dog approached my ex cautiously the first time while watching his face, my face, and my mother's face intently, like she was nervous and waiting for the whole interaction to be over. Up until that point, I had only ever seen her menacingly thunder towards anyone with working hands for free pets. I can't even remember what excuse I made for her at the time, but everyone could tell she was acting odd. I found out later that this is how she approached the bad neighbors, the sexual predator, the one with severe and untreated mental illness, and the one with a history of violent crime, when they called to her, and I had just never seen it before then. Fast forward to my current boyfriend and she's damn near toppling him over for pets and demanding his attention. She's her usual dopey self with him, no fears in her derpy puffball head, just a happy little bear. Fired from their last 3 jobs because the manager didn't like them. Coworkers not liking you is my favorite variation of this, and the one I find the funniest because we're talking about people who are paid to be near you not liking you. It's a massive red flag, especially if you've been in the same position at that company for years. You either refuse to put in any effort and force your fair share onto others, or you're unpleasant to be around to the point that even the distance and forced amicability of the office isn't worth pretending to like you. Neither lead to healthy relationships. I had the same position at that company for years because, honestly, if the workplace was toxic and you weren't the cause of these problems, you'd leave. My ex, who literally walked off 3 jobs because she kept having issues with drama or such to a T, like, almost every job she has worked she had issues with people, and dear God, when I told her, "Yo, maybe it's time to reflect on what you may be doing." Nope. She just loved to bicker and make a big deal to managers when she thought other people weren't working good enough and saw no issues with that. A grown man who has an action figure collection. I disagree. Let people have their hobbies until it turns into an obsession. I'm just saying all the men I've dated who've had action figure collections, many, which says a lot about me, have deep-seated childhood trauma and a challenging time self-motivating. It's definitely a big red flag for me. I guess we have different experiences. Each man I've met, dated that has an action figure collection or desires one is just a huge, passionate nerd. Love bombing. Don't be flattered into that trap. What is love bombing? It can start at the first date. Lavish gifts, constant compliments, excessive communication, etc. They want commitment very early because they've found their soulmate in you. They don't respect boundaries, but they say it's because they just think you're fascinating and want to be helpful in your life. It goes on and on. Never experienced that, but it sounds uncomfortable. We used to call that needy, clingy, or codependent back in my day. Those are a bit different. Love bombing is more nefarious and the domain of narcissists and psychopaths. Codependency is desperation, loss of self, and often complementary to the love bomber. Them talking bad about multiple friends shows they have no loyalty and enjoy putting others down. Also, if they talk badly of other people to you, you can be sure they talk badly of you to others. I have a friend who's a bad company to drink with. He gets shit hammered in the name of drinking capacity and trash talks everyone. People who explain some situation they are in with, and before I knew it. And before I knew it, I was married to her. And before I knew it, I was diverting company funds into my boss's personal account because my boss asked me to. And before I knew it, we were having sex. What about that part where you were taking off your clothes? You didn't know it then? That kind of, and before I knew it. Red flag for a chronic liar and manipulator. And someone who probably lies to themselves as much as they do to everyone else. They will never be living in the same reality as other people. I kind of feel like the second part of the sentence is more the problem than the before I knew it. Could be a, and before I knew it, I was a regular volunteer at the food bank, type thing. Oedipus complex. Seriously, run. I'm not familiar, could you explain what that is? A sexual attraction to the opposite gender parent and animosity towards the same-sex parent. This complex typically describes abnormal or inappropriate, most times subconscious, relationship between men and their mothers. Oh yeah, that's definitely a red flag. Leaving you on scene. If you do this to me, don't expect to have any form of relationship whatsoever. Of course I won't tell you about it, but I will distance myself for sure. This level of neediness is a red flag in itself. Not needy, just respect to be honest. If I ask you how are you? And you leave me on scene or read, we are done. If I am like how was your day today? And you don't respond for a day or two and then reply with I was fine, then we are done as anything. People have to stop labeling people as needy, just because they value respect and I said that I wouldn't do anything about. I would just distance myself from you, that's all, because I know that our levels of respect are just not compatible. If someone offers to do something really nice and backs out immediately as you take them up on it, they are only trying to control you. Run. Yep. Interesting, care to elaborate? Hey, that happened to me and I couldn't understand. I thought that that girl was into me, but she always backs out at her promises. This explains that. Thanks. Have a great day. This is so true. Great advice. There's some Reddit gold for you if you want it. Some people might not even know they're exhibiting red flags. I was one of those people. I had to figure my crap out and fix myself after I realized how wrong I was. I angered quickly. I would ghost often when I was in a bad mood. I have addictive tendencies with food and video games. And though I would seem genuine with my care for others, I was really just in it for my own gratification. And I would often play the victim. I didn't do all this on purpose. I was just messed up and needed to wake up to fix myself. I feel bad for how I used to treat people. My friend sexually harassed me at a sleepover. Never talked to her again. It was so uncomfortable and disgusting. Bro, WTF. Dude, lol. WTF kind of pussy are you? A girl comes onto you and you go and cry on Reddit. Duplicity. Watch to see if someone's actions match their words, and, if they don't, decide how much of a flag it is and how to react. Sometimes they're just a flaky person, annoying but not malicious, but sometimes they're straight up gaslighting you. Also, I'm big on taking responsibility for your own actions, so even if you notice flags and stick around, it's not the end of the world. The first step is awareness, and then you can decide what your action will be from a place of strength and not just reactivity. And we all know that different people get a different number of flags. You're the one who gets to decide how many, and you're the only one it needs to make sense to. People who air their dirty laundry on social media. They either think they're famous, are incredibly petty, or do it just for attention. As a corollary to this, vague booking. Pathetic pleas for attention. What does that? I assume it's the whole, gone too far this time, no more from me, type shit. And then all her friends go stay strong girl blah blah blah. And you're like WTF are you even talking about, you attention-seeking whore? Maybe IDK. Person 1. I can't believe what happened. What a shit day. Person 2. What happened? Are you okay? Person 1. Don't want to talk about it on Facebook. Let me phone you. If you didn't want to talk about it on Facebook, don't make a fricking vague post about it. I've met grown-ass adults doing this shit. Embarrassing AF. My mom has been doing it since my parents split. Annoying AF, playing the victim. Remember that brief slice of history when reality TV was considered trashy? Now it's a fun lifestyle everyone can live. Remember that brief slice of history when reality TV was considered trashy? We call those the good old days. My girlfriend and I once had a row. Later she put a vague passive-aggressive post on FB about it. Someone commented asking what was wrong, and she replied only with the first letter of my name, followed by A. For every other letter. I left social media because people were supposed to stop doing this when they were 16. When someone can't admit they were, or wrong. If you don't love me at my worst, then you can't handle me at my best, and other similar lines. Might as well tattoo stay away on your forehead. If you can't handle me at my drunk, then you don't deserve me at my less drunk. Excuses 101 for toxic behavior. I posted this quote on a thread similar to this months ago. Anyone who uses said quote, especially to justify *TTY behavior, is someone you don't want to be around. Nice. You have made it to the end already. Thank you for watching. If you aren't already subscribed, please do so, as there will be more videos like this in the near future.